In the vibrant kingdom of Say, tranquility ruled under the wise and benevolent leadership of King Amari. After King Amari took the kingdom from the usurpers, peace and calm reigned in Say. The kingdom was rebuilt and began to prosper with an abundance of food. Even distant kingdoms marveled at how much Say had flourished. King Amari, Queen Zuri, and the little Prince Sefu were all loved by the people. The Queen Mother, also living in the palace, was loved and adored, always there with words of wisdom for her son, the king. On a radiant morning, the king, alongside his beloved wife, Queen Zuri, and their spirited son, Sefu, strolled along the pristine sands of the seaside. The sea breeze carried laughter and the melodious calls of distant seabirds, creating a symphony of peace and harmony. Amari, tall and regal, pointed towards the horizon where the sky met the ocean. Out there, in the embrace of the ocean, lives another family of ours, the Mermaids, he explained to Sefu, whose youthful eyes sparkled with wonder. Tell me more, father, Sefu exclaimed, tugging at Amari's hand with eager anticipation. Amari smiled, his heart full. The mermaids are not just guardians of the sea. They helped raise me, teaching me the secrets of the waters and the creatures that dwell within. They are powerful and kind, and they watch over us even now, ensuring our safety. Zuri, graceful as always, added, They are our silent protectors, my son. Just as they safeguarded your father, they extend their protection to our entire kingdom. As they walked, they noticed Asha, the eldest of the mermaids, surfacing beyond the shallow waters. Her presence was a testament to the deep bond between land and sea. King Amari, Queen Zuri, Asha called out, her voice a soothing blend of the ocean's calm. Amari responded warmly, Mother Asha, it is always a joy to see you. How fares the sea today? Peaceful as your shores, my king, Asha replied, though her eyes held a trace of something unspoken, a ripple of concern beneath the surface. Sensing this, Zuri inquired, Is there something troubling you, Mother Asha? Asha hesitated, then said, The sea whispers of unrest from afar, but do not worry, we are ever vigilant. We will speak more of this soon. With a graceful dive, she returned to the depths, leaving a trail of sparkling water in her wake. Amari exchanged a look with Zuri, a silent agreement that they would need to remain cautious and perhaps investigate these whispers further. Father, will I ever get to meet the other mermaids? Sefu asked, his curiosity piqued by the brief encounter. In time, my son, Amari assured him, ruffling his hair. For now, let us enjoy the peace that their vigilance affords us. As the peaceful day waned into a serene evening in Say, across the border in a dimly lit stronghold, the atmosphere was charged with tension and ambition. The stronghold belonged to Zuberi, the son of the former king, who was whisked away by loyalists during Amari's successful uprising that overthrew his father. These loyalists, disillusioned with Amari's rule, believed that only Zuberi could restore the kingdom's former order and authority under his father's lineage. They saw his potential to rule with the same iron hand that had once tightly controlled the kingdom. His surroundings in the war room were stark, adorned only with the necessities for planning a siege, a large wooden table, maps strewn across it, and walls lined with weapons. Zuberi, whose features mirrored the harshness of his upbringing in exile, addressed the gathered men with a steely gaze. For too long, we have watched from the shadows, waiting for the right moment to reclaim what was stolen from us. The kingdom thrives under Amari, but his strength lies not in his armies, but in his alliance with the sea creatures, the mermaids. His advisors, a mix of old warriors from his father's reign and new recruits, listened intently. They understood the stakes and the fiery path of vengeance that lay ahead. One of the advisors, a grizzled old general named Akil, known for his strategic acumen, leaned forward, his voice grave. Indeed, my prince, the mermaid's magic shields him. Our conventional forces stand little chance against such mystical protection. Zuberi nodded, his mind racing through countless scenarios. Then we must sever that bond. Without the mermaids, Amari is vulnerable. But how do we challenge such ancient and deep-seated magic? A shadowy figure at the back of the room, cloaked and largely unnoticed until now, stepped forward. With a raspy voice that hinted at years of dealing in dark arts, the figure spoke. There exists a powerful artifact known as the Siren's Call. It can lure the mermaids away with its enchanting melody, leaving Amari unprotected. I propose we use it to capture them. Zuberi's interest piqued. Where can we find this artifact, and how do we ensure its effectiveness? The figure known only as Makalo, a sorcerer of some repute among the darker circles, replied. The Siren's Call is held by a reclusive seer in the forest. It will not be an easy task to retrieve, but it is within the realm of possibility. Zuberi stood, his decision made. Prepare a team. Makalo, you will lead. Akil, ensure they have whatever resources they need. We strike at dawn. Our window is narrow and our task grave. Success will bring us the throne. Failure is not an option. As the men murmured their assents and began to disperse, Zuberi stayed behind, staring at the map of Say. His heart was a mix of fiery resolve and cold determination. He knew the risks were immense, but the throne of Say was worth every peril. Outside the fortress, the night was still, unaware of the schemes that stirred within. The moon cast a pale light over the land, a silent observer to the unfolding plot that would shake the very foundations of Say. In the early morning, Zuberi's team set out on a critical mission to obtain a powerful artifact known as the Siren's Call from a reclusive sage who collected mystical artifacts. Their task was clear, and they wasted no time. Upon reaching the sage's dwelling deep within the forest, they quickly negotiated for the Siren's Call, a conch shell imbued with deep-sea enchantments. With the Siren's Call securely in their possession, Makalo and his team made their way back to Zuberi's stronghold. The journey back was uneventful, yet tense, as each member of the team felt the ominous weight of the artifact they carried. Upon their return, Zuberi greeted them with a mixture of relief and eager anticipation. The stronghold's war room, once again, became the center of intense activity. Zuberi, Makalo, and the advisors gathered around the ancient artifact, now resting on a velvet cloth at the center of the table. Zuberi examined the Siren's Call closely. So, this is what will bring Amari to his knees, he mused, the conch shell shimmering under the torchlight. How does it work? Makalo explained. The Siren's Call must be activated at a specific location along the coast, nearest to the Mermaid's Cove. When played, its melody will reach deep into the sea, irresistible to any mermaid who hears it. They will be compelled to follow the sound. And the traps? Zuberi asked, his mind already running through the logistics of the next phase. We will set nets strong enough to hold them, enchanted with spells of containment, one of the sorcerers interjected. Once the mermaids are captured, their powers will be nullified, and Amari will be as vulnerable as any other man. Zuberi nodded approvingly. Prepare immediately. Every moment we delay gives Amari time to strengthen his defenses. The following days were a flurry of preparations. Nets imbued with magical properties were crafted and strategically placed around the area where the Siren's Call would be used. Zuberi's men, disguised as fishermen, took positions along the coast, ready to spring the trap. Finally, the day came to enact their plan. The sky was overcast, the sea choppy, as if nature itself sensed the impending betrayal. Makalo stood on a cliff overlooking the Mermaid's Cove, the Siren's Call in his hands. He took a deep breath and blew into the conch shell. The sound that emerged was hauntingly beautiful, a melody that seemed to weave through the air and water with supernatural clarity. Below the surface, Asha and the other mermaids paused, their senses ensnared by the enchanting tones. What is that sound? Asha wondered aloud, her voice tinged with concern. It's calling to us. We must find it. Another mermaid, Nia, responded, already drawn by the compelling music. As they swam towards the source, the hidden nets awaited. One by one, the mermaids were ensnared, their magical abilities stifled by the enchanted bindings. Their struggle was futile. The siren's call had rendered them powerless, their fate now in the hands of their captors. Back at the palace, Amari felt a sudden chill, a premonition of dread. He turned to Zuri, his expression grave. "Something is wrong. The mermaids are in danger," he said, his connection to the sea sending waves of alarm through his veins. "We must go to them," Zuri replied, understanding the depth of the situation. "But what of Seifu?" Amari looked at his son, determination settling over him. "He stays here under guard. We cannot risk his safety." With a heavy heart but resolute spirit, Amari and Zuri prepared to leave, unaware that the situation was a dire trap not just for the mermaids but for them as well. As Amari and Zuri made their hurried preparations to leave for the Mermaid's Cove, the tension within the palace was palpable. Servants moved quietly, sensing the urgency and the gravity of the situation. Amari's mother watched with a mix of pride and concern as her son and daughter-in-law readied themselves. "Be cautious, Amari," she advised, her voice steady despite her worries. "The sea has many allies but also many mysteries. Do not underestimate what you may face." Amari nodded, taking a moment to embrace his mother. "We will return soon, mother. Keep Seifu safe and prepare for our return." With a last look at his family, Amari and Zuri swiftly departed, their steps quick and heavy with the weight of leadership and parental concern. Upon reaching the cliff above the cove, the weather seemed to mirror the turmoil under the waves. The sky was a tumultuous canvas of grays, and the wind howled like the cries of the sea itself. Through the stormy spray and churn of the ocean, Amari and Zuri could see disturbances in the water, signs of a struggle. Zuri gripped his arm, her face etched with worry. "We need to find them, Amari. We must." Without hesitation, Amari called upon the bond he shared with the sea, summoning his abilities that were gifted by the mermaids. His voice carried over the winds, ancient and powerful, calling to his friends of the deep. But there was no response, only the relentless, haunting melody of the siren's call echoing against the crashing waves. Back at the palace, Seifu couldn't stay put. His young mind was filled with tales of heroism and duty. With the help of a sympathetic guard, he slipped away, determined to find his parents and aid them. His innate connection to the sea, a secret only now burning within him, guided his path. As Amari and Zuri descended to the beach, confronting the harsh winds and the deceit that had befallen their allies, they were ambushed. Zuberi's men, having anticipated Amari's arrival, emerged from hiding. A fierce battle ensued, with Amari and Zuri fighting back-to-back against overwhelming odds. As the clash between Amari, Zuri, and Zuberi's forces reached its peak, the air was thick with the sounds of combat. Amidst the fray, Amari and Zuri fought gallantly, their synergy in battle a testament to their bond and shared experiences. However, in the heat of the moment, an enormous enchanted net, similar to the one used to ensnare the mermaids, was suddenly unleashed. Rolling down from the trees with swift and silent precision, it captured Amari and Zuri before they could react. "It's a trap!" Zuri yelled, her warning echoing futilely as the net ensnared them, tightening with every struggle. Zuberi appeared then, his smile devilish and full of malice. "I will enjoy watching you and your mermaids perish slowly," he sneered, relishing the sight of the captured king and queen. But just as despair seemed imminent, a loud thunderous noise erupted, drawing the attention of everyone on the battlefield. Emerging from the sea was Seifu, the young prince, with waves of water rising at his unspoken command. The sea seemed to obey him, waves crashing around him protectively as he approached the shore. Behind him, an array of sea creatures, giant turtles, sea lions, and even formidable sea serpents, followed, drawn to the power emanating from him. Seeing his son commanding the forces of the sea, Amari's heart swelled with pride and hope. "Seifu!" he shouted, his voice filled with both astonishment and encouragement. With a commanding gesture, Seifu unleashed the sea's fury. a powerful tide that surged forward with unstoppable force. The wave swept across the battlefield, targeting Zuberi and his men with precise ferocity. The power of the rushing water, combined with Seifu's intent, shattered the enchantments on the nets, effectively freeing Amari, Zuri, and the mermaids from their binds. The freed mermaids, now released from their captivity, joined the battle, adding to the chaos overwhelming Zuberi's forces. The tide of battle turned dramatically as Amari, Zuri, the sea creatures, and the newly liberated mermaids collaborated, using their natural abilities and coordination to overwhelm Zuberi's troops. Zuberi, realizing his defeat was imminent, attempted a desperate escape, but was cornered by the resolute prince. After the fierce battle subsided and victory was secured, Seifu, his chest heaving with the exertion and thrill of combat, waded back into the shallows where the mermaids had gathered. They looked upon him with awe and reverence. "You have inherited a rare gift, young Seifu," Asha, the eldest mermaid, said as she approached him. Her eyes sparkled with tears of joy and pride. "This power passed from your father has manifested in you with even greater strength. You are not just a prince of the land, but a commander of the seas." The other mermaids nodded in agreement, their smiles broad and their gestures welcoming. Seifu, feeling a deep connection to these guardians of the deep, realized that his journey was just beginning, a journey of both ruling a kingdom and understanding the vast, mysterious realms of the sea. "Thank you, Mother Asha, and all of you," Seifu replied, his voice carrying a new weight, a mix of humility and leadership. "I promise to protect our lands and seas with all the strength I possess." As the sun set over Se, casting a golden glow over the restored kingdom, the royal family, along with their sea allies, celebrated not just their victory, but the promise of a future safeguarded by the combined might of land and sea. The story of Seifu, the young prince who mastered the sea's call, would be told for generations, a tale of courage, unity, and the unbreakable bonds that define a kingdom.